May I proceed? Please introduce yourself to the jury.
My name is Jody Sandberg. You can call me Joe.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Cleveland.
How do you end up in Midlands?
Oh, the job market in Cleveland is not unlike the sports in Cleveland. So I figured I'd move to Midlands and maybe have a little bit more opportunity for myself.
What opportunity did you find?
Well, I'm a journalist, so I found an opportunity at the Truman Gazette. I write on different things, music, business. Currently, I'm really involved in the politics.
If you're involved in politics, did you cover the mayoral election?
Yes, I did.
Who was running in that election?
That election was between Mayor Max Heisman and the challenger Elizabeth Ginger.
Did you follow their campaigns?
Yes, I was sure to follow both campaigns.
Let's start by talking about Dr. Ginger's campaign.
Sure.
How was it at the start?
It seemed like Ginger's campaign in the beginning really focused on the grassroots. She was from Bellevue, it's a local community, and she really seemed to foster the support of that community in Bellevue.
What do you mean by that?
Well, in the early months, Ginger was holding a bunch of rallies in Bellevue. There was one, 2, 3 a week. And those rallies had maybe 500 people at a couple of them. People seemed really enthusiastic about her in those early months.
Why did you specify in those early months?
Well, leading up to the election, Ginger's rallies became fewer and fewer. In the 3 weeks leading up to the election, there was only one rally that I attended that was in Bellevue.
How was the energy at that rally?
Honestly, it was completely different than in the early months. Like I said, early on people were excited, they were turning out, there was music, there was food. The energy at this rally I went to they were lethargic, apathetic, it was very different.
Mr. Sandberg, did you follow the other reporting about the election?
Yes, I made sure to read newspaper articles, listen to the radio, news, I have apps on my phone, really any place I can get information.
What would you say was the biggest story leading into the election?
The biggest story leading into the election was...
Objection. Testimony is based on hearsay.
Your Honor, there is no statement elicited. It's not hearsay. I ask that opposing counsel clarify her objection if it's the foundation, what she wants me to do here.
This testimony is about a news report that happened in Truman, Midlands. And we do not know about this report, so it is actually a statement being elicited for the truth of the matter asserted, and it's out of court.
Okay, counsel, I think the objection is calls for hearsay. Do you have a response to that?
Yes, Your Honor. May I make an offer of proof?
Okay.
Not a single statement elicited from this witness is being offered for the truth of the matter asserted, that the Elizabeth Ginger statements were indeed true. So, Mr. Sandberg, what was the biggest news story you saw?
The biggest news story in Bellevue leading up to the election is what the media titled The Gaffe.
What exactly was the gaffe?
The gaffe was a recording that someone had gotten a hold of Miss Ginger saying less than pleasant things about low-income families.
What sort of income level was Bellevue, District 12?
Well, Bellevue's a factory town, so it's made up of low-income families.
Mr. Sandberg, let's talk about the Heisman campaign for a little bit.
Sure.
Did you notice any change in their strategy and close to the election?
Yes, actually. In the weeks leading up to the election, Mayor Heisman was running these very aggressive ad campaigns targeting Miss Ginger.
What exactly did those ads entail?
Well, in Bellevue, the ads painted Miss Ginger as an out-of-touch elitist who wasn't connecting with the people in Bellevue.
Where exactly were these ads broadcast?
Everywhere. They were on the radio, they were on the news, they were on TV and pamphlets and buses. It seemed like they were all over Bellevue.
Mr. Sandberg, did you get a chance to interview some Bellevue citizens after the drop-in rallies, the gaffe, and these attack ads?
Yes, I interviewed many citizens in the weeks leading up to the election.
What did they tell you about their intentions come voting day?
After everything that had happened, the people I interviewed, there was some support for Ginger, but a lot of them told me they just didn't intend to vote for her anymore.
Mr. Sandberg, let's talk about Election Day specifically.
Sure.
Where were you on that day?
Well, I spent half the day in Mayor Heisman's district and the other half in Bellevue, Elizabeth Ginger's district.
So about how long were you in Bellevue?
I would say I was in Bellevue for about half the day.
Your Honor, permission to retrieve evidence?
You may.
and permission to hand it to the witness.
You may.
Mr. Sandberg, I'm handing you what has already been entered as Plaintiff Exhibit 3.
Yeah.
Do you recognize the man in that picture?
Yes, this is a man that I saw in Bellevue when I went to the polls to report on Elizabeth Ginger's campaign.
Did you see that man handing out any flyers?
No, not that I recall.
Did you see him telling people false information?
No.
What was he doing?
Well, when I saw him, he approached me and told me that you cannot campaign on election day. He thought that I was a campaign manager of some sort. I told him I was a journalist, but I didn't have my credentials. He told me without credentials I could not be at the polling place, I would have to leave.
Mr. Sandberg, did you see any evidence of misinformation at the polling place in District 12?
No, not on election day, I did not see anything.
Permission to retrieve evidence, Your Honor?
You may.
Permission to approach the witness with the same. Mr. Sandberg, I'm handing you what has already been entered as Plaintiff Exhibit 2.
Sure.
Do you recognize this document?
No, I've never seen this before in my life.
What is it?
It appears to be some sort of flyer or pamphlet. It says something about requirements. I have no idea what this is.
So did you see the man in the picture handing out that flyer at any point in time?
No, this man was not handing out any flyers.
Was that,
Objection, speculation.
Your Honor, my question was specific to whether or not he saw the man handing out flyers. He knows that.
Your Honor, that was not opposing counsel's question.
I'm going to ask opposing counsel to, please rephrase your question to make sure that it's within this individual's knowledge.
Your Honor, may we strike the...
Mr. Sandberg, did you ever see that man handing out those flyers?
No, I did not.
No further questions. Permission to publish for the jury?
You may.
Yes, Your Honor. May I inquire?